Davido and Wizkid, these two are one of the biggest African artists that is making wave all over the world. Let me put it this way. There are the C. Ronaldo and the Messi of African music. And they have two things in common right now. The two have an long-awaited, unreleased album. And also the two are at the forefront of the EndSARS protest that is currently going on in Nigeria. And that got me thinking, will that affect the release of their album? Let's talk about that in a minute. Okay, so currently there is a protest in Nigeria called EndSARS, a protest against police brutality that is going on in Nigeria. Okay, and it's been a talk of the day, like it's taking all over the cyberspace in Nigeria. This protest, has two of the major artists that I just mentioned, Davido on the other side and Wizkid at the forefront of, leading this protest in their own little way. And that got me thinking that, these two artists have an unreleased album. Wizkid on his own end has an album titled Made in Lagos that the internet and his fans has been, waiting for almost a year for him to release, but, we've got no words for that. And the video on the other end, have kept his fans waiting for this much talked about album called Better Time. Let's start with Wizkid. Balogun, who you all know as Wizkid, have put out so many albums in the past. He has put out Superstar in 2011, he has put out Ayo in 2014, and also he has put out Sounds from the Other Side in 2017. And since 2017, we haven't had any album, from Wizkid until late last year when he released, I'll call it two singles. Okay, you have Ghetto Love and Joro, okay, which Joro gained a lot of airplays as of last year. But that isn't an album that his fans has been expecting from him from long time. Away from that, he also put out, as of December last year, which is 2019, he put out call it EP called Soundman Volume 1, which had a couple of tracks in it. But that's not an album. All of these I mentioned were albums and EPs that actually had quite a number of airplays. But since 2017, which he last put out an album, to 2020, which is for 3 years, like we've been waiting for Wizkid to drop an album. And he, has been making a comment, granting interviews, and saying that he was going to drop one, which is Made in Lagos. So later on, he announced that his album, the most talked about, Made in Lagos, that he has been granting interviews about, talking about how this album that is yet to drop will be one of the best work of art as he has ever put out. Okay, and he mentioned it that on October 15th that he's going to release the Made in Lagos album. And guess what, guys? Today is 26th October 2020, and he's yet to drop that album. Okay, so this is quite understandable because the EndSARS protest is currently going on in Nigeria. I mean, if you go on the cyberspace, on the internet, just check on Twitter, check on Facebook, check on Instagram, you will see virtually no news that is trending in Nigeria apart from the EndSARS protest that is currently going on in Nigeria. And that's to tell you how huge and how much of impact these protests, have on so many things and entertainment industry, on most especially the album of Wizkid titled Made in Lagos. Okay, so you're not going to hear this from me. So I'm going to read out these things from Wizkid so you get to hear this announcement from him. Why, as of today, 26th October 2020, he's here to drop this album. So let me read out this tweet. He said, due to the current situation in Nigeria and everything that is happening, I've made a conscious decision to push back my album. My sincere apologies to any fans I have left down. I just don't feel it is right for me to release at such sensitive time. It's quite understandable. So many celebrities have, gotten into trouble by, promoting a movie or trying to put out a music during this sensitive time. And one of those is Toyi Ibrahim. She was called out on Twitter for trying to promote one of her movies, and people, Nigerians most especially, last on her. Ricardo Banks made a tweet which he said, "Out of control, Davido must drop. This one with my brother Wizkid, Omolomo, midnight jumping, still on the matter, answers, and co." And guess what, guys? Wizkid was so angry at this guy that he had to call him out right away. Let me quickly read out Wizkid's reply to Ricardo Banks. Read. It says, "Delete this, dude. Can't believe you are even doing this at a sensitive time like this. Old songs, #answers, fool. Jesus Christ, oh my God." And to have Ricardo Banks post such a sensitive matter and for Wizkid to call him out outrightly and even went to an extent to call him a fool, that's to show you that this is really serious. So there you have it, guys. You have seen the reason why Wizkid made a Lagos album won't be dropping anytime soon. That notwithstanding, we look forward to whenever Wizkid will have that album released. So the album is actually a 14-track album that features, so many big names in the game. He featured artists like Burna Boy, like Skepta, like Damian Marley, like Elamai, Terry, and also he featured her.
Loaded, yeah. Waploaded is loaded, yeah. Waploaded is loaded, yeah.
So Davido, on the other hand, has this album titled Better Time. Although he has released a pre-order link, for those that want to pre-order this album, but it's yet to be dropped. This album is meant to drop by 30th October 2020, and this is just 4 days to it. Today is 26th October. And we are just 4 days to see if this album is gonna drop. But I doubt, because we have the NSAS protest that is currently going on in Nigeria, and Davido is more like he's on the front. He has been meeting the IG of police, talking with the big stakeholders, the elder statesmen that are involved to see that there is an end to police brutality, and also that the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian police is disbanded. Davido is on the forefront of this, and I don't think that there's going to be a date for the release of this album yet. So away from that, let's talk about the album. This album is a 17-track album, okay? Actually, 17-track album that's featured one of the biggest names in American music, and that's Nicki Minaj. Wow, this is going to be huge. Apart from Nicki Minaj, it featured other big names, which we have Tiwa Savage on it, we have Mayor Q on it, Mayor of Lagos, then we have Muges on this album, and a lot of other big names. Anyway, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that this much awaited album will be worth the wait. Okay guys, so let's keep our fingers crossed and wait for these two big names, Davido and Wizkid, to drop their album as soon as the NSAS protest dies down and the demands of the people are met in Nigeria. But I would like you to do one thing for me. So let me know in the comment section who will be the first to drop the album as soon as all of this is over, Wizkid or Davido. Let me know in the comment section. I will appreciate that a lot. This is Tony saying bye for now, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.
Waploaded is loaded, yeah. Waploaded is loaded, yeah. Waploaded is loaded, yeah. We got you loaded, yeah. For latest music, we loaded. Latest just entertainment, we loaded. Music promotion, we loaded. We loaded.